All right, folks, this is both hilarious and deeply stupid, so brace yourselves. Yesterday, after Donald Trump succumbed to pressure and ignominiously caved and folded and blinked in the ridiculous global trade war that he started for no damn good reason, his MAGA cultists, both in and out of office and in right-wing media, were desperate to spin the backtrack. Oh, see, this is the art of the deal in action. This is Donald Trump being the master negotiator. And as the markets began to initially rally because investors were relieved by Trump's backtrack, those same MAGA cultists who dismissed the importance of the markets just hours before then turned to the markets and said, look what Donald Trump is doing. He's resurrecting the markets. Suck it, libs. But this morning, the stock market is once again plunging because investors are no longer relieved. The sugar high has worn off. They are concerned because we're still in a trade war with the world's second biggest economy, and the uncertainty of the market has never been greater because the U.S. economy is being led by a moronic madman with no consistency. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Yep, as we speak, the sugar high is worn off and the market is plunging. This is a shot chaser moment. Again, as Mediaite reported yesterday, textbook, extraordinary. Behold, MAGA showers Trump in champagne after tariff pause. Wow, it's amazing. He's such a genius. The stock market is rallying once again. You guys shouldn't have been worried. Except, oh wait.
I think they expected that we would come back to reality, and that is what we're seeing here today on Wall Street. As you mentioned, the Dow down about more than 600 points, and you have the NASDAQ down about 500 points, S&P down about 125 points right now. I spoke to an analyst, Ross Mayfield, earlier today and just asked what is the expectation for today and this week going forward. And he said he believes that sort of investors are getting this reality check, very much realizing that we are still in the middle of a trade war. Even though those reciprocal tariffs have been pulled off, we are still seeing a very high tariff with China, 125%, those auto tariffs at 25%, steel and aluminum tariffs, and then, of course, that 10% universal tariff across the board. So still here, there is a sense of uncertainty. A 90-day pause is obviously incredibly welcome, but at the same time, traders here realize that these countries are going to have to negotiate with the United States, and they don't really know sort of where the president's benchmark is. What do they need to do in order to make sure these reciprocal tariffs don't go back into effect? And especially with China, I heard from an analyst this morning who said that, are there other options on the table for China? Is there a deal to be made with TikTok or the Panama Canal? Those are things that investors and traders are going to be watching today, just trying to see what other news comes out of the White House and out of the administration that could very much dictate, John, what these markets will look like today.
The sugar high has faded. The reality has sunk in. Donald Trump didn't stabilize shit. That rally that we saw has evaporated. Could it come back? Possibly, but who the hell knows? Again, shot chaser. As Mac McDermott notes, markets woke up and realized that a 10% global tariff and a 125% tariff on China is still going to devastate America's economy. As even JP Morgan, right? You have Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase, right, who's a Trump ally. He was out there sounding the alarm on Fox News yesterday morning before Trump triggered the tariffs. Apparently, Dimon's appearance on Fox News was a major factor in Trump backtracking. We'll discuss that in a previous video. But even JP Morgan says, despite the pause, they still have the probability that there will be a recession, a Trump-triggered recession. JP Morgan says recession is still likely despite Trump's tariff pause. JP Morgan Chase is still sticking with its recession call. The bank still sees a 60% chance of a U.S. and global recession, even after Donald Trump issued a 90-day pause on most tariffs. So at least as of now, this didn't change shit. It didn't change shit. Why is that? Because, again, of the uncertainty. The tariffs themselves are inherently a problem when they're of this sweeping nature. But the uncertainty around Trump's tariff policy, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off, they're on again, they're off again. I mean, Seth MacFarlane, I should have pulled this up. I'm going to find it right now. Seth MacFarlane, the late night, not Seth MacFarlane, Seth Meyers, the late night talk show host. Oh my God, he was hilarious. He had a really good bit about this. This is why investors are uncertain, and this is why the markets are still in chaos even after Trump's pause. Seth Meyers puts it beautifully.
So you know those tariffs Donald Trump announced last week that sent stock markets crashing and caused a global financial tailspin and sparked intense backlash from his own supporters on Wall Street and in the Republican Party and shattered American alliances and used made-up numbers and put tariffs on penguins and caused his own advisors to engage in a public war of words in which one of them called the other a moron and forced Trump to issue a statement telling everyone to be cool and hang tough, except he accidentally wrote the words Hank Tough, which sounds like the name of a fake advisor he would invent to blame for his stupid tariff plan. Don't blame me, blame senior White House advisor Hank Tough and his buddy, the lemonade kingpin Mike Hard. Well, this might shock you, but today Trump paused most of those tariffs for 90 days. One day after his White House said he would not pause tariffs, and about 2 months after he announced, then paused, then announced, then paused, and announced tariffs on Canada and Mexico, then left them out of the tariff announcement, then said he wouldn't pause them, then pause them? Well, I mean, at least we're 2 years into the Trump presidency, right? What?
Exactly. In order for businesses to thrive in any reasonable market, they have to have reasonable expectations. They have to have certainty, and uncertainty has exploded. Again, as Mac McDermott notes, the U.S. Economic Policy Uncertainty Index just hit such a historic high under Trump that it's literally exploding off the chart. And again, single-handedly, objectively, 100% Donald Trump's fault, which means objectively, he should receive the political backlash, pay the political consequences. Democrats are perfect in this context. Republicans are objectively 100% at fault because their leader, Trump, is taking us off a cliff for no damn good reason. And those Republicans who have the power to try to check him, in the executive branch, you have his advisors who apparently aren't doing shit. Then you have people in the coordinate branches, particularly Congress, right, which is supposed to be the predominant branch, certainly the dominant branch over tariffs and taxes when it comes to monetary policy in the United States. They have the power, and they're led by Republicans, and Republicans are too scared of Trump to use that power. So it's all their fault, 100%. And Democrats should be relentless and vicious in pointing that out. This isn't, oh, government bad. This isn't, oh, Congress isn't doing its job. It's the Republicans in the executive branch, Donald Trump, and the Republicans in the Congress, in the House and the Senate, that are not doing their jobs. Democrats are blameless in this respect. It's the Republicans doing this. 401ks continue to suffer. College funds continue to suffer. And if these tariffs go into effect, the American consumer is going to pay out the ass for stuff that we get from China, which is a lot, as you well know. Again, as the Wall Street Journal is noting, as Barron's is noting, the Dow and others are falling sharply because people woke up this morning realizing, oh my God, we're still in a global trade war with the world's second biggest economy. We only have a 90-day reprieve. That could change tomorrow. The 90 days are not guaranteed. Trump said he wouldn't issue a pause in the first place or a delay in the first place or exemptions in the first place, and he backtracks. So why should we believe him here? He's a liar. He's inconsistent. There's no rhyme or reason. As John Favreau, Pod Save America, noted, all part of the plan, quoting Stephen Miller, Trump's deputy White House chief of staff for policy. You've just been watching the greatest American master strategy from greatest economic master strategy from an American president in history. When you wake up the next day and you realize we're still in a trade war. All part of the plan. Jessica Tarlov, friend of Fox News, says the market's having a sugar high, waking up to the reality of a 10% global tariff, a 125% tariff on China, 25% on auto, and God knows what else. We'll see what Bessent, Navarro, Lutnick, and Hassett say, and then watch Trump contradict them a few hours later. Total disaster, objectively Donald Trump and the GOP's fault, and when MAGA, going all the way back, I guess, let's look at this. Textbook extraordinary, right? So you have Bill Ackman, billionaire Trump donor, who was bitching for weeks, begging in a full-blown public panic attack that Donald Trump is going to ruin the economy. And then when Donald Trump pulls this backtrack, it was all under control. Donald Trump, brilliant, art of the deal. You have Howard Lutnick, obviously, the Commerce Secretary. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Behold the art of the deal. Trump has created leverage, brought many countries to the table, and will deliver for American workers, American manufacturers, and America's future. Cat turd. Trump played them like a fiddle. Stephen Miller, President Trump's master strategy, bold statesmanship, and brilliant tactical planning has done more to reform the broken international trade in days than anyone has achieved in decades. David Sachs, they did everything they could to create a panic. They created a Black Monday that never came. They became jubilant over an intraday correction on Tuesday. They were rooting for Trump to fail, even if it meant the market and economy crash. Fortunately, their hopes have been dashed. Trump has been vindicated. China is isolated, and the rest of the world is lining up to negotiate new trade deals. Do you think this would have happened if Trump had asked nicely? Maybe if he said pretty please? Never. This was the only way to rewrite the rules of global trade. Once again, Trump was right about anything. Pathetic. Bridget Gabriel, the art of the deal. Bill Mitchell, the whole world is now dancing to Trump's tune. That's how you do it. Jack Posobiec, he told everyone when to buy. Did you listen? We'll talk about that in a separate video too, because that might have been market manipulation. But the bottom line is this. Despite all of that shit, all of the BS from these losers, once again, the market is in turmoil. It might shoot up later on today. It might plummet again, all because of the uncertainty that Trump has single-handedly created. And again, he should own the political consequences. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.